Hi, this is Saintus. Welcome back to Forge of Empires, and today we're going to be looking at the units from Space Age Venus. So we already have information about all of them right here, and the main thing that I want to point out first is that the skill that they have, which is a chance of dealing critical hit with twice the attack power, the chance of that has risen from 25% to 30% in Space Age Venus, which means that it's obviously easier for you to get any of these chances right here that I'm showing you regarding, for example, the first wave. So if you attack with 8 units right in the beginning, you had an 83% chance of getting one critical hit in Space Age Mars, which rose to 90% in the next age and will be more than 94% on Space Age Venus. Now, this trend is obviously present in any other combination that you may want, and these little blue cells here, they basically, I have them here once the percentage drops below 1%, and now I'm just saying the average number of attempts that you have to make in order to get a result. So don't worry, the enemy and you would still need more than 15,000 tries in Space Age Venus in order to get a full critical hit attack, but it is going to be easier. So the first unit here is a fast unit, which is the energy cannon, and this one is a really good one, and it is recommended for you to have it and replace what most players will have, which is the Sentinel from Space Age Mars. This is because the fast unit from the previous stage, whilst he can ignore artillery fire, it only had a range of 1, as you can see here, which makes it completely worthless and unplayable. On top of that, the attack and defense values have a healthy rise or increase, and it's not crazy, so it's not going to be too difficult to deal with if you have units from Space Age Asteroid Belt and you're fighting against units from Space Age Venus. All you need is obviously the attack bonus. Next we have the Observer Drone as a light unit, and even though this one switches the values of attack and defense in comparison to the fast unit, and it has some range and movement, I do not recommend you to use this unit at all because it is far weaker in comparison to all of the other ones. Simply put, its skill, which is hiding on broken ground, cannot be fully harnessed because there isn't simply enough broken ground around the map, and it doesn't have a high enough range in order to compensate for that. The next one is the heavy unit, which in this case it's actually good, as the heavy unit showed it has a good attack, but most importantly a high defense value, and it does have a range of 2, which although is not the same from the one of Space Age Mars, it is still enough range for you to avoid retaliation fire. But most importantly, it has the skill of reactive armor, meaning that it can only lose a maximum of 4 points of health, and with a health pool of 10 hit points, this means that your units will always need to be attacked 3 times. However, if I were to make a comparison between this one and the Guardian, which is one from Space Age Mars, I would still say, at least in my opinion, that the one from Space Age Mars is a more well-rounded and better unit than this one is. As for the ranged unit, which is the Ghost Blaster, this one is also a good unit, maybe comparable to the heavy unit, but we'll have to really wait and see how this plays out with the live server. But anyway, it has nice obviously attack and defense value, its range is good, and it also has the blast skill. So this means that the closer it is to a target, the more attack bonus it will have, and it can ignore stealth, which makes the light unit really more useless. Also, I must point out that this will obviously attack before the heavy unit and light unit as well, which gives it an advantage. Same thing with the fast unit, that's why it's so good, it's because it's the first one to attack at all times. And finally we have the artillery unit, which in my case, at least from what I can see here, I hope I'm not wrong, this is probably the most powerful artillery ever. The first thing is that it has a much higher defense value. So as you can see here, the previous one from Space Age Asteroid Belt had a base value of 550, and the one from Space Age Venus has a base value of 900, which is almost an 80% increase. And so this is a very tanky unit. But most importantly here, not only does it have the keen eye, it has power shot, which was only ever present in the artillery from the future era. And what that skill does, it allows it to ignore almost every single skill. In other words, those special skills, it can ignore all of that, including concealment, which again makes the light unit even worse. It can ignore reactive armor, which means that this will be the main counter against the heavy units. And most importantly, it can ignore the skill from the fast units that were supposed to ignore artillery. So it will fire at any units regardless of their skills. However, the one from the future era could only fire every other round because it had to wait 1 round to reload, simply because of the fact that it was that powerful. However, this one doesn't. And I feel like this might be like the artillery from the Arctic Future, which is also a very well-rounded one and very good one. And so yes, I can expect this one to be very dominant in the battlefield. And so those are the units from Space Age Venus. Tell me what you think about them. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you next time.